Hello everyone, Kenty Tiger here with Bengali Engineering and Play. We are back in Space Engineers, and in fact back in our Survival Series 2. We're still testing and playing, and this is a vanilla miner here, or was a vanilla miner. I've got a couple blocks that are non-vanilla on here, just because I want to test. So I've got my refinery module built on here that I call the Kenty Mega Mini Refinery. So it's set up using the block and model of a small container. So it has the 6 sides on it, which is actually makes it very, very flexible. And I also have a cargo teleporter on here. And what I'm doing is retesting here. As I'm actually aimed for the uranium at this point. But let's go ahead and have a look and see what's happening here. So the drills are pulling in. They're just drilling through stone at this point. So let's go ahead and look and see what the refinery is doing. It's really just doing gravel. And so it's pulling in all this gravel, and then it works very, very quickly to change that gravel into, or rather the stone that it's pulling in, and turning it right into gravel. Now I have in the last video you saw I had the transmitter turned on. In this particular one I have it turned off. So now I'm actually, you can see the uranium there coming in very slowly onto the screen, and then it's pulling it right in and then putting it in here. So right now I'm in semi-auto mode. You can see I'm moving forward. I'm not actually touching any of the keys. Oh, there's my camera. So here's this is kind of a neat view as it tunnels through. So we'll leave it there. Just you can see the other tunnel we went through. So this one happens to be the uranium, and I don't know how much uranium. It doesn't look like there was very much there. It looks like I'm already into iron. So let's actually do the inventory. Iron, yeah. So I'm already into the iron here. But the neat thing about this is I've got a rearward thruster, so it's pushing forward. And I've got it set up to go automatically to thrust override. So when you turn it on, it automatically goes to thrust override. The idea was that it would keep the vessel moving forward at a very slow pace. And so right now we're going forward, as you can see, at about 1/3 of a meter per second, 0.35 meters per second. Now I can actually slightly slow that down, and I kind of like it going much slower, but you know, in this case it's going to speed up over time, because the again, the application of force here isn't quite perfect. So yeah, so you can see it just went from 12 to 13. So as this goes, it just is very slowly pushing through. And the good news is, once I put that thrust override thruster in there, then I don't actually have to I don't have to push any buttons. So right now my hands are completely off the keyboard. It is moving very, very slowly, which is what I want it to do as it drills through here. I don't want those drills to continuously be pounding against the whatever the material is, because eventually you will take enough damage to the drills to actually destroy one. And once you destroy one, then all of a sudden you have this uneven dismantling of the voxels, and then eventually you start destroying the rest of your ship, because you have this piece of the voxel that's no longer going around, and yet the ship is symmetrical to what those drills used to be. So in the case of my ship, because I have that corner piece out, because of the way the thrusters were put in there, the only time that it would actually run into the voxels is on the back corner. So on the front and the back, So the bottom line is I don't want the ship to be taking any damage as it goes. So obviously if I were not in a vanilla miner here, then I could do things like put a projector in and then have the build and repair system. So basically I would have that projector running, and then the build and repair system could come and repair things if I got any minor damage. Even if I got some major damage, then I would just back off a slight little bit. The projector would be putting in the block that had been damaged to the point of destruction, and it would be able to rebuild everything as I went. So there are some of those options there if you go kind of non-vanilla. But in my case, I really did just want things to, kind of progress very slowly there. So there's just a hair over a quarter meter per second, and I don't know if the drills are going to keep up. No. So I am hitting, and then it slows down to 1.7, 1.8. Now, it looks like I'm coming into a rather large cavern here, which I didn't even know existed in this particular thing, because I couldn't see it from the outside. So, potentially once I hit this cavern, then a couple other things are going to change. Will I hit the cavern? Or sorry. Yeah, I might kind of somebody go under that cavern. I wish they could fix the camera. That would be really cool. So, actually I see ice. So what I probably ought to do is go ahead and update. So this is actually the one we're working through, AG and iron and silver and uranium. So let me go ahead and do this one. There's actually ice here as well, I can see, which is actually kind of neat. This particular and I just passed something. All right, so just because I don't know what that is, and I want to find out what that is, I'm going to go ahead and shut my drills off. I'm going to tee out of the cockpit here, and I want to see what this was. Uranium, more uranium, which is kind of cool. So uranium I know because I passed through the uranium back there. Sorry, back here. And this is the same color, so I'm presuming that this is just more uranium. Alright, so let me get back up here to the drills, get back in, and, oops, wrong side. Upside versus downside. I reversed myself. Oops. Alright, so you get back in here, restart my drills, and restart my forward thrust just a tiny little bit, and I just want to hit enough to get myself moving. And as the camera passes through this cavern, I think I'm going to which is why I was trying to swivel around to this side. It may or may not stay there. So one of the, I want to say, testing aspects of this particular evolution was I turned off the cargo transmitter. I actually installed the Kenti Mega Mini refinery here. So what I want to do is kind of see how all of this is working. So am I actually storing any material? So the idea is that once the refinery actually fills up, I should be pushing material into, which it has been. So every time the Mega Mini refinery fills up, it's actually pushing material into, and this one is now full, or nearly so. So hopefully it will be pushing into the next one, which it did. It filled that one up, filled that one up. Wow. So let's go ahead and look at my containers to see how they're doing. So this container is filling. Oh, so it's actually putting some gravel into here. I was trying to see, okay, where is this stuff going? So we still have this container to fill, and we still have so eventually this container should start to fill. And of course there's no reason why I can't turn on the transmitter. So you know, I'm bringing in all the iron. The biggest reason why I didn't turn the transmitter back on is one of the things I want to do, and I'll do this off screen, but I want to actually get rid of all the stuff that's on the station and get to the point where I'm actually being productive in the why I can't, you know, go. Rotating back around. Even though I'm only moving the mouse in one direction, it just shifts back to whatever the fuck it wants to. They probably did, and then they broke it again. See, what I wanted to do was swivel around over to the port side and then get myself so the camera is not even close to this cavern here, which would then let me do whatever, but giving you a camera that you could actually swivel in any direction would, I guess that's just a difficult thing for some reason. So the I can't even remember what it was called, but the tool vibrate or whatever that was. You actually can turn that off on the main menu. So before you actually load up anything, you can turn it off, but it doesn't actually turn off. So the tools still vibrate the same as they did before. Sorry, one of the things I'm looking at here is the reason why I kind of went silent. So I just had a power hit here, and I've got most everything on the UPSs, but I have to, what I'm trying to see is if I actually, oh God, this is so fucking frustrating. Fuck. These are the things that make games unplayable. Is when you have these stupid, completely asinine glitches that just make it fucking impossible to do shit. And this goes back to the developers don't fucking play their own game. So because they don't play their own game, they don't realize these things are, and of course they don't listen to the players, which is another stupidity. You know, if you're doing a development, especially if it's a early release, beta kind of a thing, that you're depending on your player base to tell you what's wrong, you know, they become your quality assurance team, then fucking listen to them. You know, this is just the asinine bullshit that I truly love this game. But I despise the developers because they don't listen to the player base who is playing the game, and they obviously are not playing the game because they're not fixing the major game show stoppers. That okay, I'll stop now. We thought Tool Shake was a great idea. Nobody knows. Who thought exiting, exiting a cockpit should who thought exiting a cockpit should turn off your dampers. So we're into this space where it can't fucking recover here. Game glitches that comes into everything is this rotation thing around your camera that snaps back to some random something, what the fuck, and then you start rotating again and it just snaps right back, and Paste does the same thing. So it's something that's been complained about in the forums. There's probably 20 different bug reports on it, and of course Space Engineers is no longer being updated. So they're steering apparently towards what they view as release, and while the game, to a certain degree, is playable, I don't feel they have a quality game at this point. There are too many things that are absolutely known bugs that are here. They're known to be here. They're bugs. They're known bugs, and they're I think fully intending to release the game bugged. I think that's their intention. Fuck. Goddamn fucking camera. So what I have to do is just get to the point where I'm out of this cavern, and here's where, you know, again, I am not a programmer anymore, and I was never a game programmer. I was a commercial programmer, so I was more, you know, industrial function and industrial control as a programmer. But you know, they make things work in particular ways, and the camera functionality here is an issue. And it's an issue because the camera doesn't stay where it stays. It shifts according to whatever the camera itself is physically moving through. And this is what I don't understand. If you want to unfuck something, then you turn off some of these things that are causing things to be fucked. You know, this does not strike me as being something that is particularly difficult to do. After all, if they make the camera functionality work in certain instances, then why wouldn't it work in other instances? So why can I only pan to the starboard side, but I cannot pan to the port side? Why is that? Why is that? It makes absolutely no sense to me. If you can pan to the starboard side, you have the exact same voxel material on the port side as you do on the starboard side. So why the fuck can't you port? Why can't you rotate around to the port side? Why not? So it's obviously a bug. If they intended to do that, then they're absolutely fucking absurdly stupid. So I don't know what the fuck they're doing here. And this is, you know, Merrick has already, you know, indicated that they are getting ready to actually release the game, or he's hinted towards the releasing of the game, and you know, the fact that this is the first time ever that they have not done updates for a long period of time, which means that rumor I think is in fact going to be true. Fucking camera. The second I get over center, then it just fucks itself. Here, we'll go into F8 and immediately lock up. Interesting. F7, which is supposed to put camera above. And yes, I'm very purposefully not speaking just because I will have absolutely nothing nice to say. Exactly what I mean. This game is absolutely not even remotely close to ready to release. Not ready. At this point, I'm just looking for the miner. So there's the station. There we are. And I'm going to come into this cavern, which is causing me so much trouble. Well, maybe I'm not. And we are slowly increasing in memory usage. We're up to 38 gigabytes. This is another what the fuck thing about this game, is that this is the only piece of software, the only fucking piece of software I use that consumes this much memory. And if the game actually was playable when it was consuming that much memory, then it would actually, you know, be something pretty remarkable. But all right, so what I'm going to do here is cheat a lot, and what I'm going to do is I like ice, so we're just going to we're going to go over to number 8. We're going to put voxel hands onto we're going to use a sphere in this case, and we're going to look out here to see where the sphere is. We're going to turn off this snap to transparency distance, and then we're going to, and the radius doesn't even change. Weird. So we have stone. We use the brackets here. So there's iron, iron 2, nickel, cobalt, magnesium, silicon, silver, gold, platinum, and ice. So what I'm going to do is, this may completely screw things up here, but we're going to go ahead and paste ice through here. Just mystically, magically stops. And then we're going to rotate back around and do iron 1 and iron 2 pasting anymore. We'll do a shift save, just because with this level of fuck up, I truly don't know what else to expect. So with voxel hands not working anymore, this is again another, you know, what the fuck is, it doesn't work, then it does work, then it doesn't work again, then it does work. So my goal here is just to fill in this cavern so my camera will actually work. So I guess just to make it a little easier, we'll go ahead and fill in. Maybe we'll go out the other side and fill this in from the other side. It should be somewhere down here. Go. And so we have a great big huge space here. We'll go forward to the iron. Then back to the stone here. What I don't know is this is, you know, completely, you know, does it fill in to where the stone actually was, or is it just filling in the gaps? So I have no idea. So either way, I'm totally altering the hell out of this particular asteroid, which is all fine. Here's, I think, the hole. Now that I've kind of done the hole on the other side. All right. So forward to stone, iron 1, iron 2. So for whatever reason, this just isn't letting me fill any of this in, but now it will. So F8, which is really just to see how much of, so we have this little gap here of something, which, a couple little gaps, you know, here and there of something, why they're not allowing anything to move, and maybe that's just because of you know, this thing here. Yeah, so the drill obviously is there, and I understand the drill is there, but so make this a little bit smaller, go down to 25. Doesn't look like it actually changed to 25, but okay. All right, well, so some kind of interaction here. You can see this multiplanar red, whatever it is over here, that is not letting me do anything over here. All right, so let me jump back into the miner here if I can. Of course not. So T X, which we'll just get that out of here. Then we'll back out a little ways here. Did this actually turn? Yeah, I guess it did turn just a slight little bit. this back in. Where all the controls do, you know, independent things, depending on what's on the screen simultaneously. And so all right, so F6, we will paste the craft back into the universe here, so it's actually here. Then we'll do some more F8 work, because what I want to do is fix this. This is clearly causing a lot of problems, whatever the fuck is going on here. So I'm gonna find my ice again. Silicon, silver, gold, platinum, ice, two different kinds of ice here. Alright, I guess that works. So the cavern is effectively gone. This might just be an optical illusion that I'm not reading it well, which is fine. So F6 to get me back out to where I was, figure out where the hell the miner is, and then if possible, get the miner going back into approximately the same hole it was. I don't know if that's entirely possible, but at least we'll get, obviously we're a little low here. Try and come in a little closer without bouncing off the rocks here. Swing around, obviously we need to come up. Little bit to the starboard side. Rotate. A little more up. Nose up. Pretty close. There we go. So it's pushing up and then in. I think. think I am taking any damage here, but I think it's kind of realigning itself up with the hole. Side. Was on the port side. Come on. God damn it. So I guess this is the only way to do this. So, drill's on. Of course, because I'm not controlling the vessel, I'm actually controlling the camera. This is another, you know, what the fuck. Trying to do is of course unfuck the camera, but so if I even just try and roll to the back, so now we're outside, so the camera is completely outside. So the camera is completely outside. I'm zoomed back as far, but the second I rotate the camera around, then it still is doing this, you know, completely fucked up thing like it always used to do. The hell? However that happened. 2 on, move a slight bit forward here. I guess we'll go with that. And then, because the camera doesn't work otherwise, we'll watch it with the spectator camera. Of course, we're kind of going down a different tunnel, which is just kind of to be expected. I mean, it's not really gonna align itself, and this tunnel really did kind of move over the course of time. And then the idea is that I want to drill completely out through the other side. Into some uranium there. Now, I suppose if I really wanted to, so let's go ahead and turn that off, turn the drills off. I have no idea why things are still moving, because it says we're going 0, but clearly we're not. So F8. I'm going to go ahead and do a 6 here, and this is all come on, damn you. So what I effectively did here, if all works out well, is I basically filled in the cavern in front here with ice. So basically, it's not going to recreate a different cavern. It's going to create a brand new cavern. So that way, I'm not doing something different here. All right, so drills on, forward, then we'll change into our F8 camera so we can actually see what's going on here in a reasonably civilized fashion. So, cheating a little bit by way of I'm filling in a cavern with ice. I actually did need ice, so that was one of the things here that I wanted to do. So it wasn't ideal, certainly, because I'm after all recreating an asteroid here in my own vision. So, two of the things I need to do here, and I'm running into just about an hour, so I want to quit before I get into that oops moment. So, two of the goals, now that I have this this miner working reasonably well, then I'm going to halt the miner here And there's two things that I'm going to do. So the station, the space station in this case, already has some materials. Um, but what I want to do is get to the point where the station is actually receiving the materials that I'm giving it, which is to say from here on out. So what I want to do is kind of zeroize what I've got stored here, because I've been kind of working in a creative mode here. And then two things happen from here. I need to progress forward, but I also want to turn on those two mods that we talked about earlier that add different different things into the world here. So let me see. So I'm going to turn that off, which will slow me down to 0. We turn the drills off, turn it on for the moment here. Alright. That way I'm not taking any more materials, because by all rights we should be full, yes. So I'm actually filling the drills at this point. So we have plenty of material coming in. Hopefully we have filled up our generator. Yes, we did. We filled in the generator, which is exactly what I wanted. So in all respects, our drill, our miner, appears to be working as intended. So let me go ahead and get out of here. I'm going to leave the miner here for a moment. I'm going to go ahead and exit my way out of here, and we may or may not be able to do that. Okay, and we are a little ways away from the planet. These are other asteroids that are out here. 3 signals that direction, and there's our station. So ultimately what I want to do here, so that was the idea there, was just to get me back here reasonably quickly, and wow, more lag. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is actually get rid of this thing, and we're going to get rid of this thing by way of this is kind of a pointless thing to do here. Freeze. And so and I'm going to do a reboot. 45 gigabytes of RAM. An obscene amount of RAM, because it's way over what it says the recommended specifications are. So, Shift F5, and with that, I think we'll sign off here. So this is Kenty Tiger signing off. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch you next time.